Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. What is up? Welcome in for Monday's episode, Beyond the Finish Line. Had another wild weekend of college ball. Before we get started, hit that like, follow, subscribe, and let's have a day. Want to hear your thoughts. Give the couch call or the coach call, however you want it. A ring. Let me hear how you're feeling on your teams. How we doing? How's the uh how's the playoffs shaping up? I mean, if I know anything, it's gonna be that there's gonna be there's gonna be a pissed off fan base, no matter what. No matter what the committee does, there will be there's going to be a pretty upset fan base all the way around. I think that when you look at the playoffs and just with just with what they're projecting now, this is obviously last week's projections, and there's been some movement. Oklahoma at home, Notre Dame. Did Notre Dame quiet everyone down? I mean, I think that if you go back to that Miami game against Notre Dame, if Jeremiah Love would have got more carries, they probably would have won that game and won it significantly. Obviously, that's hearsay because they didn't do that, and now it is a loss. Um, does the ACC get a team in now? That's, they had Georgia Tech. Georgia Tech had everything in front of them. They had a lot of people into the direction which they needed to go. Beat Pitt, beat or play Georgia really close, and end up in the college, the ACC championship first off, but then the college football playoffs. Now it looks like Miami gets in, but that means what if Miami doesn't win the ACC? Say it is Pitt or Virginia. What does ACC get a team in? Does Miami get in at large because they beat Notre Dame? It's gonna be a real wild couple of weeks, especially this week, Hate Week. At the end of the day, we all know what Hate Week is and how things can go crazy in a heartbeat. Hate Week is gonna definitely send it's gonna send the football world into abysmal because there can be some big wins, big losses. The question, I mean, really, and this goes to my question of the day today: is this the year? Is Ohio State finally going to end the 4-game losing streak to Michigan? They've played like it, but then you ask, who'd they play? Who have they played? Doesn't matter. They played their schedule. They've been dominant. haven't really had any issues or hiccups along the way. They've dominated and handled business, and I think that's why they sit at number one. But can they beat Michigan? You know, the game up north. It's where game day is going. I do believe. Um, but it's one of those things. What if Michigan beats them? I mean, because when you're looking at it in the regard to that, the rankings can get really shook up if Michigan were to beat Ohio State. Ohio State's getting in regardless, just because of the full season that they've put together. But what if they lose to Michigan? How far do they drop? How far does Michigan then get in at large because they just beat the number one team? Indiana. How many teams does the Big Ten end up with, even if Ohio State beats Michigan? Because you've got everything there. You've got Oregon, Ohio State, Indiana. How many teams is the Big Ten going to get into the playoffs? And then what does the committee think about the Utah-Kansas State game? Yes, Kansas State came back. I mean, Utah came back to beat Kansas State, but they were down. They were down until late. And so do they stay at 12? Vandy put on a show. And that, leads into like the Heisman talks. Where's Diego? When you put the 4 seats, and you look at we got top matchups. Let me see here on the Heisman. Play. So last week, the odds, Fernando Mendoza, he's been the most consistent. Julian Sayin has been unbelievable. I think record-breaking with record-breaking in the sense of his completion percentage, but he also has weapons. Everybody's like, his weapons. Yeah, he's got good weapons. He's still got to put the ball there. He's still got to put the ball on him. He's still got to read the play, read the defense. He's improved. He's improved a lot. I think when we first started the season, his first start, yes, it was against Texas. It was against Texas, right? They only beat them by 7 at home. But it was also his first true start. And is that their toughest opponent they played all year? It's not really for me to decide, but it does. If I'm a Texas fan, a Longhorns fan, I'm probably a little pissed off because you schedule that big game. You only lose that game by 7. But that knocks you to 3 losses now. Now, you lost to Georgia. You lost to, was it Florida that beat them? Yeah. Yeah, Florida, right? And then Vandy lost to, correct, okay. Then Vandy lost to Texas. And so with Vandy, if they get in, even though Texas, it gets very, very intriguing, if you will. Um, I mean, when you look at it in the sense of, um, it's a um the bubble teams, the bubble games. What are we gonna get? Hold trying to figure. Okay, but when you look at the SEC, how many teams does the SEC eventually get in? And it's because there's been, you've lost here. Diego played so good last weekend. Some of the throws he made, and I know he went to Clark Lee and was like, "Hey, I want to put me in. I want to." Goes in, throws a touchdown. Boom, bada bing. But he's good. I think he's played himself into a seat in New York City, if you will, just due to his leadership. And then that he had an interview after the game, and I just think that if we're talking most valuable player to your team, I mean, you've got the top three, I would assume, being Mendoza, Jeremiah Love. If I had to take a shot at it, I'm assuming that I'm assuming it's going to be Mendoza, Julian Sayin, Jeremiah Love, Diego in New York City. There's a strong case for everyone here on this graphic. Do you factor Marcel Reed's first half last week against South Carolina? You definitely should. And I mean, just from some things that I've put, just some things that I've put out, you've got your, no, About sick of these spam calls. Spam, spam, spam. All the time. Spam. Huh. Is that what that is? That's interesting. I didn't know what that was. I don't know nothing about that. Live rewards, whatever that is. Treasure box opened, etc., etc. But Mendoza, he's obviously been very, very poised and comfortable behind a physical offensive line. That the Indiana team, the difference from the Indiana team from last year to this year is physicality. I think Cignetti has got in there. He's got his culture built. They're a lot more physical now. When you beat Illinois 63-0, Illinois was on the bubble of, hey, is the Illini going to be a playoff? Like, they were talked about preseason as being one of the teams there. 63-0, no big deal. Then they go to Eugene, Autzen, and beat Oregon. So Mendoza does that. Obviously, they didn't play this weekend. So did it hurt his chances? I don't think so. They go out and put a dominant performance on the field against Purdue. He's right there, the clear leader. But 2,641 passing yards, 30 touchdowns, 5 interceptions, a 73% completion. And then he had 4 touchdowns last weekend against Wisconsin. Kid's been unbelievable, and I think I saw someone talking about, it's just the environment of the team he's in, but the talent that's around him, it's like, I don't know. I think he elevates those guys as much as you're saying that they elevate him. Julian Sayin, he is the most efficient passer. 80% completion right now for Julian Sayin. 2,832 pass yards, 27 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. They had the blowout against Penn State. They beat Michigan. And so I think if Julian Sayin, let's say the Heisman may be on the winner of the Big Ten champion team. There is a really good shot there's a very, very, very good shot that the winner of that Big Ten championship is your Heisman. But we could skip down to, and I saw a graphic during one of the games, I don't remember which one, that a running back has won the Heisman. I think it was in every year that ends with 5. And so that brings up Jeremiah Love. Best non-QB. He's got the dual threat ability. He has 274 reception yards, 1,135 rush yards, 14 touchdowns, 171 rushing, 3 touchdowns versus Syracuse this week. That was on like 8 carries. Uh, the when you look back at the Miami game, how they did not use him, I think they might have just been splitting carries with him and Jadarian Price, but Jeremiah Love is that guy. Unfortunately, they don't have a conference championship. And so, if they don't have a conference championship, he's not going to get that extra game. But there is a chance that he has another dominant. Let me see. Let's see. I mean, his outing. So they play Stanford, which is just another. Yeah. His last games of the year, regular season, is going to be against Stanford, at Stanford. So if he goes out and puts on a show like he did last weekend, he's going to work himself into contention there. I think they have his odds a little high. He's been, again, if we're talking about the most valuable player for your team, I mean, Jeremiah Love has been that guy. He is why they've been so dominant. CJ Carr has gotten better, but if we look at the grand scheme of the Notre Dame team, it's going to be Jeremiah Love there. Marcel Reed, I don't have Marcel Reed there, and it's strictly because of that first half against South Carolina. Okay? Do I think that he's really good at football? Absolutely. The kid is crazy good, and he showed that in the second half. I just think that first half hurt him. I could be wrong. They may have him up there at New York. But like when they make a mention of the 27-point comeback, that's awesome. The problem, I think, is he's one of the reasons they are in a 27-point deficit. And so even if you make a comeback and you get it, you get the win, etc., the first half still counted. You still threw an interception or 3, I think. And yeah, I agree. Stockton nor King will get as much love because they just don't. They do what's best for the team. And I mean, even when you think about Diego Pavia, like he probably 100% is just confident, cocky, and that's why he's going to be sitting in New York, I think. Unfortunately, I don't think they'll have Stockton or Reed. Could you imagine having I think it would be cool to have Theo as a stepdad. I did see the video of Theo's or Pavia's mom and Theo walking across the field at senior night. Well, what a cool stepdad to have, I think. Maybe. Interesting dynamic. Especially since he bet him that I forgot what it was. take your mom on a date, etc. But that would be a fun fun stepdad to have if you had to have one, I guess. I guess it's kind of weird because the kids are like 25. I don't know how old she is. I know Theo's like mid 40s, but I think it would be a pretty cool experience, maybe for at least a year. Oh, another dark horse. Two Christmases. Yeah. Two Christmases. And probably I don't know. I know Diego has a brother and a sister. I don't know how many more he might have. Uh oh, it was okay. I was tripping. My YouTube was throwing me off. Dark horse, Texas Tech's Jacob Rodriguez. He has been. There's never been a linebacker to win the Heisman, but he's. I mean, he's a main reason that Texas Tech defense is like they are because he's a leading tackler. Um, Now, PFF says he's the top tackler. I don't really know if I trust all of PFF grade because some of it is interesting data they use. But so non-quarterback, Jeremiah Love, Jacob Rodriguez, Jeremiah Smith. You're really going to get to see all of them play in a big game except Notre Dame. I don't think Stanford is going to be much of a struggle for them. I think Stanford might not. I don't know. They've been better than expected, but probably not. Probably not the thing that's going to happen there. Wisconsin beating Illinois. I think that's a big one because people were really high on Illinois coming into this season. Wisconsin, I think after the Luke Fickell energy stopped, if you will, and they said that they were retaining him. Hey, I appreciate that. I think once they said that they were retaining Luke Fickell, the team was able to rally around it. But I think that was a big win. Just to finish out the year strong. Probably going to hold some recruits in there with the known fact of, hey, we are keeping Luke Fickell. And then I just think that the Wisconsin, for that program, that was a very big win. Luke Altmaier was, I mean, they talked very, very highly on Luke Altmaier heading into the season. He was a I want to say Heisman candidate, but a lot of people were very, very high on him. Well, thank you for the live ×5 and the ×1. So I do think that the Wisconsin. Hey, look, Culver's comes from Wisconsin, so I'm behind them. I think that was a big win for the program, though. Looking at it here, going back, Luke Altmaier was 21 of 35, no touchdowns. He had a rushing touchdown, but his arm was supposed to be more of their strong suit, if you will. And so that Wisconsin defense holding up like that shows that the future for them is very high. and, when a defense plays like that, it's got to make some old folks like J.J. Watt pretty happy. Yeah, I mean their trajectory is only up. Obviously, this year is what it was for them. But if they could finish out the season, who do they have this week? Who do they play this week? Oh, Minnesota. Okay, so Minnesota had a couple big wins, right? Minnesota beat. Yep, Minnesota beat Nebraska on a Friday night. Now, take it how you will with Nebraska. Who knows? I think with how they have slid, there's a chance that Nebraska may be losing Matt Rule if he's wanting to go elsewhere. But with the collapse that he had prior to Raiola getting hurt, so if y'all can go in and beat PJ Fleck's Gophers, it's going to be a great atmosphere, obviously. But if they go in and beat them there, or even play them very tight, yeah, their atmosphere is going to be something that's going to hold it there. But if they can go in and play them tight or like I said, beat them, it's a great ending of the year. I don't think they're bowl eligible with the win. No. But to the point of that would be a massive program win because you don't want to, especially like losing. See, you didn't really get, yeah, travel. So that game. There's a good chance that they go in and they knock Wisconsin. I mean, Wisconsin knocks Minnesota around. But I even look back a little bit further from the Badgers. Like they only lost to Indiana. Yeah, I got to get the X back. Is that that's the rivalry trophy there? I may do that. May do that. Kind of rank some of the rivalry games, trophies or names of their rivalry game. Give me a follow. I'm live every day, Monday through Friday. Won't be live Thursday, but 11 a.m., 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Just talking sports. That's it. I am sport head talking sports. But if you go back and look at your Badgers, who only lost to Indiana 31-7 at Indiana. Okay, so it's the Paul. Okay, yeah. That's where I want to rank because there's some good ones out there. There's some good. Yeah, there are some names like Georgia Tech, clean old fashioned hate. There's going to be the chaos that's happened in college football this year. I would not be surprised for a little bit more to happen. I mean, let's call it what it is. Wisconsin, the past 4 games, you guys went to Oregon, only lost by 14. That's got to feel good. Beat Washington, only lose to Indiana, and a loss is a loss. I get that. But only lose to Indiana 31-7 after they've been as dominant as they have been, and then go beat Illinois. Yeah, I think the quarter. Let's see here. So I saw, are they playing two quarterbacks? I think I saw that. They maybe have some packages. Um, yeah. One, Billy's a senior, I think. Yeah. Wisconsin. What class is the Carter? Let's see. So he's a senior too. Hopefully that they have a quarterback on the roster that is going to might be this Hunter. Nope. Looks like they've got a couple senior quarterbacks. Which hopefully, and transfer portal obviously opens up that. Uh, yeah, I think that the Midwest beef offensive line could really help for Wisconsin, obviously. But then you know like the new, and this is the like another rivalry, Big Ten. It's like, will Ohio State end their 4-game losing streak against Michigan? What's poppin'? What's good? How we doing on this fine Monday? Is Michigan good enough to beat this Ohio State team? I don't know. We said last year we didn't think so, and they did at Ohio State. So, yeah, more cheese. That's right. Of course. Thanks for coming in. Hey, Wisconsin's on the up and up. The AP poll is without a doubt all over the place. Hey, I appreciate that. I appreciate that a lot. Let's see here with the AP rankings and how much different they are from the CFP rankings. Yeah, I don't see how Ohio State loses. Almost feels like they rested, if you will. Hold up. Wait a minute. Oh. I don't know where that thing went. Anyways, I think Ohio State, yes, is gonna it's at Michigan. It's gonna be a ruckus environment. Absolute war over there, if you will. And they actually have a quarterback this year. But I think Jeremiah Smith, Carnell Tate, did they rest them so they'd be more healthy for the Michigan game? Personal opinion, yeah, I think so. Top 4 stays unchanged in the AP. Oregon, Ole Miss, Texas Tech. Texas Tech obviously is in front of Ole Miss. Are they in front of Oregon after this week? I don't know. And kind of leads to the point of what is Dan Lanning doing? The dude coached under Saban. The dude coached under Kirby Smart in the SEC and got himself a couple rings. But now that he's in the Big Ten, yeah, Texas Tech is. They're going to be just fine as long as Morton stays healthy. I don't see any problems there. But with Dan Lanning making this after the win against USC, when you go back and you look at the notables or who they've played, and his comments are, "Oh, they were unranked after we play them. It's not our fault." But it's like Indiana, you lost to them. Iowa, you beat them, but that's Iowa. We just talked about Minnesota with Pulse. USC, you beat them. Like, don't compare that schedule because you've got a couple conference games in there that are the bottom half. So putting out that was like, all right, come on, Dan, what are we doing here? And for the sake of the, hold up. I don't need all that in my chat. Get out of here. Goofballs. How many teams does the Big Ten get in? How many teams does the SEC get in? Does the ACC get a team in? If it's not Miami who wins the conference, who gets in? Even if Miami wins the conference, it's like, Lou, it may have went off when, like, for the other screens, I think. Like, usually, I think the mods can still see it, but I don't think the regular chat can. Could be wrong. Don't know enough about it, but I don't need all that up in here, bro. Texas, Arch Manning in Texas, they actually look pretty good. Can they beat A&M? That would make things crazy. That would make things crazy if they were to go in and beat A&M or have A&M in their house. Can they beat them there? I'm not going to say it's out. Just like I don't think that Georgia Tech losing to, beating Georgia is that anything can happen in these rivalry weeks. Is Matt Rule leaving? Probably not. I don't think anybody's going to want him after his thing. I talked about that. Look at all the fired. Cal just fired their coach yesterday. Another coach has been fired. Obviously, James Franklin has already taken another job, and who on this graphic takes another job or who's going where? I don't know. There's so many job openings. I think that's why Florida State decided, hey, we're keeping Norvell because we don't want to be competing against LSU, Penn State, Florida, all these teams this year. Because at the most, you're going to be the third or fourth best team as far as recruiting goes. I wonder if Florida State would bring in Deion Sanders. When is Deion Sanders, if he was to get to quote unquote a blue blood, would he be better? Would recruiting be better if he was recruiting South Florida? I seem to think so. I don't know when his contract is up. Contract. Even if he wasn't a spammer, like I don't need that language. I ain't. That's crazy. All right, so he's under contract with Colorado until 2029. So I don't think that Dion will end up being Florida State's coach, but if he were to leave before it'd make it new employer can cover the buyout. Nope. So Deion Sanders buyout, if before the end of this year, is $12 million. Next year, $10 million. 27, $6 million. 28, $4 million. 29, and the new school can. No. Yeah, the new school can cover that buyout. I don't know if anybody would want Deion Sanders. Now, I don't know why he took the job at Colorado. I get it. It's beautiful. Out there in the West, the mountains, etc. They're very beautiful. But is it a place that a lot of recruits want to go? No. That's just me. He can get some, and he has transformed. The Colorado program was no good at all, but they haven't really been anything this year with him. They're not even talked about, and that's one of the biggest things that he brings to a program is the publicity. So without that, it's like, yeah, it's a gold hardware season. Natty, Heisman, who should be in New York City? Yeah, the hot seat. No more. Conference championship games can't count against teams. Like in all reality, a conference championship shouldn't count. Like, what if it is Alabama and A&M? And yeah, this is, I mean, when you look at the SEC title game scenarios, I think I got this off of Twitter or X. SEC Mike, credit to the graphic. I think it is something along those lines. SEC championship game. Georgia gets in that game with a loss to, or an Alabama loss or an A&M loss. Either one, they are in that title game. A&M is in if they win, or Alabama lose. So all they have to do is win, they're in. Alabama, win, they're in. They don't really count on anybody else because they do hold the tiebreaker over Georgia. Everybody wants to see A&M in Georgia. I'm okay with not seeing that until later on. Let's get Alabama, A&M. Alabama may beat A&M. Honestly and truthfully, they are. If they can get, I say it every single week. If they can get their run game going in Tuscaloosa, Ty Simpson is very good. But if they're stacking the box, they're daring you to run by emptying the box. You've got to get them. You got to get some respect in the run game. If they can do that, they actually have a shot at making things happen. But the way that Deuce Knight played for Auburn this weekend, freshman, Hugh Freeze might still have a job if they started him. He was, now, granted, yes, who they're playing, but Mercer was 9-1. Mercer may not be the best football school, but they were 9-1. But Deuce Knight was all over the place. That kid's good. Hugh Freeze may have, but that just goes back to you've got that kid on your team, and he's sitting on the bench. Oh, look, another spam call. You may still have a job. Another firing that was from the NFL, but Chip Kelly gets released from the Raiders. He probably regrets ever leaving Ohio State. There's no chance that this whole season he was happy, or however you want to call it, because that Las Vegas Raiders offense has been terrible, and he was at Ohio State, just won a national championship, went and joined the Pete Carroll Raiders, and 11 games in, released. Does he become an Ohio State offensive analyst through the playoffs? I would bet so. Ryan Day probably has him on the phone as we speak. I saw, let's see. NIL's made its way to high school players. Pete Tamil. I think he reported it this morning. Yeah. The OHSAA has voted to allow NIL per a source. This vote stems from Jameer Brown's lawsuit. Ohio high school athletes can now receive NIL money. How long? I don't know. If there's no regulations, it's going to keep going. And I think the kids should get paid, but can you imagine a 16 or 17-year-old getting handed a $500,000 check that has never had money? Unfortunately, that's not going to be the best for growth mentally. I do think that they should get paid. They're really good athletes. Maybe when it's interesting. Should they get it coming out of high school? Should they have to be a senior and committed to get it? It's now it isn't just Ohio. Ohio is one of 6 states that prohibit high school NIL. So I guess that just reversed it to now they allow it, and it is what it is. So it's been around the country already. I would think they're not handing that much money. Yeah, at 16 years old, I just couldn't imagine a getting that in any 5-digit number at 16 in a lump sum, and it's like not good, dangerous, a lot of things. But a lot of people will then just joke that Kirby will recruit him, and there was another arrest, and it keeps getting crazier and crazier. From the Georgia backup offensive lineman, I think it was, yeah, Nair Daniels. An absolute something about his mom was involved in it as well. And he has been released from the Georgia program. He got three felonies, 10 misdemeanors. He high-speed chase, something about his mom. There was some cruelty to children. This is all alleged, proven innocent until proven guilty, but doesn't look good. I just don't understand it. To have all that talent and throw it all away. I don't understand it. And what I don't understand is Georgia Tech had it all out in front of them. And I don't know if they just started slow, because it looked like they were just sleeping and then they woke up. Unfortunately, it was too late. That's a hard hole. I don't really care who you are. 28-0 that fast is a tough hole to climb out of. So it just gives you more things going down to the rivalry week. How mad are they? Are they going to come out and beat Georgia? Can Georgia Tech come in and beat Georgia in the Mercedes-Benz? There's a good chance. And then obviously hold up, wait a minute. Ole Miss, Lane Kiffin, is Lane Kiffin headed to the Bayou? I'm questioning it. It just seems the more it drags out, do they know maybe in house? Is Lane like an AD and whomever is tight knit? Do they know, hey, we're staying here? Let's just create a little publicity. Because at the end of the day, Jerry Jones of the Cowboys says, even if they're talking bad about you, they're talking about you. And you can kind of call it as you will there. But I'd like to know how you feel. How'd the weekend go? How'd your team play? How'd they lose? How'd they win? Give the Couch Coach call a ring, 404-590-3224. And we'll be back tomorrow for some hot takes. The show's over. Vibes or not. Follow, like, subscribe. And I'll see you guys tomorrow.